Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another video. So this is my Instagram Q&A that I'm going to be doing today. My next Q&As will be next week because I want to try keep them on like Tuesdays and Wednesdays. I might move them to Wednesdays and Thursdays because I know once this Sunday airs, there's going to be a lot of stuff to talk about for episode 2 and all of that and kind of reactions to episode 1. And I usually do my reviews and trailer breakdowns Sundays. And so if I do those kind of videos on a Monday and then a Tuesday, adding a Q&A that Tuesday just seems like a lot. So I might move it over. But anyways, this is my Instagram Q&A. Thank you to everyone that posted questions. I really do appreciate it. But let's get into the first one here. Are you making plans to attend Comic-Con before part 3 would come out? It would be so awesome if somehow we could all meet or at least say hello. Yeah, you know what? I've always planned to do that, and I think because this is the final season, that would be really cool. And I mean, for sure by next year, I'm assuming I think the border is even open right now because I'm in Canada, right? I'm pretty sure the border is even open now, but I'm not entirely sure of the rules right now. But I don't know. But I'm sure by next summer, by next July, it should be open. I think people will be in attendance, and yeah. My plan is to definitely go to Comic-Con. I really want to go, and I think that it would be really cool to meet a bunch of you guys and to actually, like, if you're in the area, like, I've always planned to go to Walker Stalker cons and stuff like that. So yeah, to go to an event like that, I think would be a lot of fun. And I mean, celebrating The Walking Dead, the final season, right after the many years we've talked about the show. Yeah, I mean, I have plans to do it. It's just that it's never really happened, kind of because I had kids, and also it was like, well, there was no point, and I always kind of planned to go in the future, but now that that's the final season and like, the pandemic's over, or it's not quite over, but we're near the end of it. I think that, yeah, it would be really awesome, right, to actually get into that. So yeah, like I do have plans, and next year, I mean, definitely, as soon as it's like early, January, February, March next year, I'll definitely be making some plans. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see how Comic-Con next year is going to go. I'm hoping that you'll have fans in attendance. I mean, they definitely should. There's a lot of places that are packed now, right? So I'm assuming you're going to be able to. Do you think we'll ever see Georgie or her group again? I think we could see them maybe in like a spinoff, but not on the show. Like at this point, I also just don't really care, right? Like the Georgie stuff, I kind of cared about, I guess, a couple of years ago. But at this point, if she comes back, I'm just like, okay, well, whatever. Like maybe if they ever did an episode on Tales of the Walking Dead, that'd be kind of cool, right? Where you just had an episode of Maggie and what she was doing at her base, the Meridian, or it's just called Meridian, I guess. And you saw Georgie there. You saw, I guess, the twins, they're calling them. I think that would be really cool to actually see that and how the Reapers took their base. Besides that, I don't really have much interest in it, though. So, like, I don't think we're going to see her again. But if we do, it's going to be on like a spinoff or something like that. Do you think Negan could take Rick's comic death in the show? Now, this is a really good question because my obvious answer is no. If you think Negan is going to take Rick's comic death, that is insane. They want to use his character in spinoffs and everything in the future. This is never going to happen. But I do want to entertain this idea because me saying that is just like, it's not fun, right? So I want to entertain this idea. If they were to kill Negan off, what would happen? Now, in my thumbnail, I have the Rick statue there because obviously people are talking about Rick's comic death, and that's a big part there. This is the issues with it, is if Negan were to take Rick's comic death, like Negan is great at making speeches, so I can definitely see him making a really great speech. It'll be in his way, his demeanor or whatever, but like I could see him making a really great speech. The issue is I don't see them erecting a statue after him because no one likes him for the most part. Like the Commonwealth, sure, they have no ill feelings towards him, but like they're not going to erect a statue after him, right? I think people voted Rick to do it because they were influenced by his speech, which maybe the Commonwealth could do it. But there was also the aspect that he led before with Alexandria and the people of Hilltop and the Kingdom knew him and stuff. So I just think that that's a little much for Negan to take Rick's death. It would first of all be tragic that he would just die that way. But of course, that was Rick's death, right? Or like Rick's comic death definitely was very tragic in the way that he died. He was a great leader and he died in one of the most pathetic ways possible. But I also, not pathetic like in that way, but it was just kind of like, really? That's how he's going to die? He's not going to go out in a blaze of glory? Just dies like that? Some punk kid comes in his room, shoots him in his bedroom? But that's just how it is sometimes, And I do like that aspect of the story. I like the fact that it was just so random like that. But I think that for Negan to take that death, he's not really deserving of it. And that's kind of why I always lean on Ezekiel or Father Gabriel. because you need someone who's inspirational, and both of those characters come to mind. Like, there's really no one else. Just think of everyone else on the show. No one else can really make an amazing speech like that, where it would be that influential. Father Gabriel definitely could. I could see him actually making a very great speech there, and then he's killed later on in the night by Sebastian Milton. I could totally see that. Or I could see Ezekiel doing that. And I mean, they're both really great at making speeches. They're both leaders. I kind of lean on Ezekiel more just because of the fact that, I mean, if you were to erect him as a statue, that would look amazing. First of all, with the dreads and everything, like that statue would look really fucking cool. And it's nothing against like bald people because Father Gabriel's bald. It's nothing against that. It's just that, I mean, it's dreads. Come on. It would look so badass. It would be so cool. I think it would be a very epic way for Ezekiel to end his story, right? Because what's he up to right now? He's trying to beat this cancer, and I do imagine that like they mentioned in season 9 or 10, Chelsea actually reminded me during the podcast, they mentioned that like the survivability rate's super high, 95, 97% if you're treated. So the Commonwealth are probably going to treat it. But imagine if like, oh, so he's probably going to live, but then he dies tragically. You know, then there's a point to his story. He was this great leader, this and that. I could definitely see them doing something like that. With Gabriel, he's also a really great leader. He was a former leader of Alexandria. But the reason why I don't know if I would like him to get this story is because he kind of has this whole thing, this rage thing going on right now where he's like angry and pissed off and doing crazy things, right? So I think for him to do that is a lot. And he has this whole family dynamic with Rosita and Coco, you know, so I lean on Father Gabriel because he has those leadership qualities. But I think the best character to take this death definitely would be Ezekiel. And so if you're comparing Negan and Ezekiel, Ezekiel's a much better person, a much better leader. And even though I do like Negan more than Ezekiel, just because he's funny and he's way more interesting, I still think at the end of the day that it makes much more sense to do that. And so, yeah, I think I've entertained this long enough. Like, it would be cool to see a moment like that happen. And yes, he is a big character and it would be really shocking, but it's going to be shocking and sad to see Ezekiel die. Like, just think about that. To actually see Ezekiel die, man, that's going to be sad. But it is the final season. We're going to start to see characters like that go. And, oh, man, I'm doing the watch parties and stuff now. And this is what's amazing about doing the watch parties is that there are no spoilers out. And so when you guys are joining the watch party and you guys are hearing my reaction to everything, that's the first time I'm watching it. Like, legit the first time I'm ever watching it. And so, yeah, you know, like, I am very excited for episode 2, and I'm gonna be able to watch it just a couple days from now. So, do you think the series finale of The Walking Dead will include a time jump? Yeah, it should, and the reason why it should is because that's what happens in the comic. It's just whether or not that's gonna be the very final episode. Like, is the final episode ever gonna focus on that? Because it's kind of like anticlimactic, or if that's the right word to use. In the comic, it kind of worked, I guess, but it was kind of weird how with issue 192, you just had this big event like Rick's death, or I think that happened in issue 191 or 192 around there. You had this whole mourning process afterwards. And then in 193, it was the big 20-year time jump. I don't know how that's really going to work. I almost think that you need to make episode 23 and 24 also a two-parter and maybe air them in the same night. Like, I don't know how they're going to handle that because, like, one episode, you're going to have all this crazy stuff happen, a big death happen, you might get Rick coming back or whatever's going to happen, all this stuff happens. And then the next episode, the very final episode after, of The Walking Dead, is going to focus on characters that we don't really know, right? Because they're going to have to recast Judith, RJ, a lot of other, Herschel Ree, everyone's going to look old. Maggie's going to be like 20 years old. Everyone's going to be 20 years older. And so that's just kind of a weird way to end The Walking Dead. I guess you could do that if you want to, but it'll be a very peaceful story, a very just like nice, relaxing ending, a happy, like beautiful, sweet ending kind of thing. And I'm like, do you really want to end The Walking Dead that way? You could, I guess. It depends on what's going on before. So I think the time jump's going to happen. I'm just kind of torn on like how much to use it. Is it going to be the whole last episode or like the last 20 minutes, half an hour of an episode? Because I also feel like based off the story we got in the comic anyways, that's not enough time. So I don't know, maybe they avoid the time jump altogether and they just do something different. I don't know, we'll have to wait and see. But will you do a ranking of the Halloween movies when Kills comes out? That's actually an interesting idea. I mean, I'm open to it. I definitely will be doing more reviews, like horror reviews and stuff like that in the next, well, I guess starting now, really building up to Halloween and all that. I want to get through the Halloween movies and stuff, so I definitely will do that. But yeah, I definitely am really, I would be interested in ranking all the movies. I would have to rewatch all of them, though, because I'm not going to make that list and not rewatch all of them. I do know people are probably going to disagree with my list, though, but I guess that's kind of the point of it, right? It's fun. Do you wish we got to see the celebration of a holiday by the characters in The Walking Dead? Yeah, I think that would be really cool. I don't know why we didn't get that. I know in the comic, I think early on we got that. I think the issues with stuff like that is that a lot of it, like, it's become kind of so political, right? And I'm not choosing a side or anything like that. I'm not saying anything like that. I just feel like, you know, if you're gonna have a Christmas episode, who cares? If someone's doesn't celebrate Christmas, who cares? But you can also do Hanukkah. You can do a bunch of other religions if you want. Like, make it more of a holiday thing. So if you have someone celebrating Christmas, you can also do something where someone is celebrating Hanukkah, because I have people in my family who are Jewish, and I just think that the whole thing on like holidays and stuff is insane. It's just like people just want to have a good time, man. People have different celebrations and traditions, just like everyone can do whatever they want to do. And so I would love to see a celebration of any holiday on the show. I really would. I just feel like I don't know if that's like really the reason why they don't touch that. I know if they did things like that, there is going to be some type of response like that from some people, because some people just like to complain about nothing. But yeah, I'd be so open. I mean, throw any holiday on the show. It'd be fun to see our characters be so happy, right? Get to learn a little bit more about some cultures and stuff. Yeah, I'm totally down with that. If you got to pick the 2 people that Negan killed in season 7, who would it be? Ooh, if I had to choose 2 people, I always say I would just go with Glenn. So if I was forced to choose 2 people, I have to go with Glenn, because I think that really does make the story amazing. I wouldn't make the cliffhanger happen, but I have to go with Glenn. Second character I would go with is Sasha, because I think that would really piss Abraham off, and I would like to see Abraham pissed off during All Out War. I think that'd be kind of cool. So yeah, I'd go with those 2 characters, Sasha and Glenn. But I'm going to leave it here. Thank you guys so much for all of your questions. Make sure to be a subscriber if you want more Walking Dead content like this, and I'll see you guys in the next one.